What's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing fantastic out there. So I've got an interesting one for you here tonight. We've got one that I've never heard of. You've probably never heard of. It's a company out of South Africa called Pickled Steel. So I've got two of their production folders. I'm not sure who the OEM is on these. I don't know if it's a South African OEM or how these are being done. But you know, from what I'm seeing, they're pretty well done. Again, pricing is something I'm not super aware of either. I will try to link all of their information down below. If they have Instagram, Facebook, I know they have a website. I just looked at it just to get some specifics, but their pricing is not in US dollars. I didn't see if there was a way to change it over, so we'll go ahead and jump into these. We're going to start with the bottom one here. So I did have cheat sheets in here, but I know that this one is the Warhog, not the Warthog, the Warhog. So they do come with a bit driver that has a secondary pocket clip and a set of Omega springs. And then you also get a microfiber. All that is included in here with the Warhog. So this guy here is a pretty beastly knife. It's a fairly good chunk. It is D2 tool steel. All right, so the handles are micarta and aluminum, and then you have steel liners. Again, it is a crossbar lock. There you can see the tool steel information. It is D2. There is your name, and then the maker's mark or the designer's mark. So let's go ahead and get on to taking a look at this knife so you can kind of see the coated aluminum. You do have some anodized aluminum thumb studs and a pivot collar. There you can see a little closer look at your crossbar lock. It's a pretty beefy crossbar lock. Really nice micarta. Done really well. The inserts are done well. The inlays, they're done well. There's not any massive gapping, any issues there. So you have for your reversible pocket clip, flush mounted screws, and they do look to be T6s. Yep, those are T6s. So on the other side, again, we've got our other side of our pockets, other side of our pivot. Same inlays and everything over here, same screws, and then your fairly deep carry wire pocket clip. And it is a stout pocket clip. Man, that's a strong pocket clip. Shoo! All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the blade. So another wicked blade here. So this is a black stonewash. And there you see the Pickled Steel logo. And then on this side, you have, again, the designer's logo, D2 Warhog. Take a look at our grind. So we do have a flat grind. Yeah, we got a flat grind. And pretty doggone good sharpening tool. So our sharpening tool ends about right there. So our plunge grind ends about right there. So you've got all that room for sharpening. Fantastic work on that. The grind looks to be pretty good. Not too shabby there. We're a little low down here. A little low right at the tip, but overall pretty doggone good. This side looks to be more symmetrical. Again, just a little shallow there at the tip. Get it to focus here. And the tip does look to be symmetrical there. So not too bad. I'm trying to get it to focus just on the tip. Looks pretty doggone good. Can't really complain there. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the overall blade. So it is a beefy boy. You've got a really nice full grip here. You can choke up, but I would advise to be careful because there's nothing to stop you from sliding up on the edge. Personally, on this knife, I don't think I would choke up. You've got a fantastic handle that locks you in very securely. You get a little bit of a hot spot right here at the top of the knife, but if you just make some small adjustments with your hand, you can get rid of that. Wire pocket clips almost never give a hot spot, at least to me anyway, so no issues there. Did we look at the centering on this guy? So it is perfectly centered. Crossbar lock, so the action is going to be pretty doggone good. You can slow roll it, and you can actuate with just one hand or with one finger. Reverse flick is not bad. The detent is kind of non-existent, so it's a little weak for the crossbar lock. Doesn't look like it's any sort of adjustments to be made in there. So, you know, if they did offer some stronger springs, that would be great. It is just a little light on that, you know, on that action. But overall, outside of that, I really like the knife. Like I said, it feels great. I love the blade shape. Let's see. Again, this is a pass around knife, so it will get kind of a pass if the edge isn't perfect. But that's pretty damn good. Let's see. That's that tip. The tip is a little worse, but again, that's a pretty damn sharp knife, if I do say so myself. Yeah, I really don't have anything negative to say about the knife. I mean, it's not my favorite aesthetically. I guess I can say that, but that's a my opinion sort of thing. I do love the blade shape though. I love the blade shape, which you guys are sure. I'm sure you guys know that. You've got the really nice swedging going on here, both the on the top and the bottom or front of the blade. Yeah, all in all, it's not a bad knife. I wish I could figure out the pricing. I may try to look into that a little bit more and put it on up here. But I don't know if there's any, you know, local places that are carrying these. Again, I'll try to do a little more research, put that information in the description or right up here annotated on the screen. But I do like the crossbar lock. I just wish it was a little bit stronger, but this is a fairly heavy blade, so I'm wondering if that might have anything to do with it. But anyway, you know, fantastic knife. It's one of those ones where, you know, depending on the price, if you see them out and about or you find them, I don't think anyone would be disappointed in this knife. The jimping is done pretty well. It's a little slick, but when you really bear down and get a grip on the knife is when it does bite in. It just feels like this was meant to be a hard use knife. The way the jimping's done, the way the handle feels, it just feels like it was meant to be a bit of a bruiser. So we will check in to the other knife here. So the other one is called the Rhino. Again, the same thing applies for this one. You get your reversible pocket clip, the Allen wrench or the Torx wrench, and I do believe, yep, there's some screws in there as well. So it's nice that they give you that. You know, that's some things that some of the larger OEMs do or larger manufacturers do. All right, so this one here again is the Rhino. You can kind of already tell why it gets that name. We'll go ahead and zoom in here. So you've got G10 in this case instead of the aluminum and micarta. You have a black anodized pivot collar, and it is a captured pivot there. There's your flipper. You've got a couple of jumps on your flipper, and they're pretty doggone good. They grab the finger pretty good, even for some big jumps. Screws are flush mount. They're not completely sunk in, but they are pretty doggone good. Not terrible. Open pillar construction along the back. You do have a lanyard hole, and there is your deep carry clip. It is a deep carry reversible clip, and they do give you the extra screws over here, which is nice. There is your designer name, Miguel Hetzel. Pocket clip on this one is a lot better. that wire clip is really strong on the other one. Here you have your pivots, and then your other T. In this case, yeah, T6 is still. Actually, no, these might be T8s. I'll have to check. My eyes are playing tricks on me. You got a T8 there on the thumb stud, so you do have a removable thumb studs if you need to remove those. Take a look at the blade here. So coming in from the tip, so you do have a really strong chip there. Nice wedge and this kind of a I don't know what to call this. Modified sheep's foot, I guess. Yeah, I mean modified sheep's foot, modified reverse tanto. I don't know. Weird blade shape. You do have a really massive upsweep here. Reminds me a lot of the the quote unquote Warncliffe raccoon, how it's got that kind of the nose, or not raccoon, gator. It's got that kind of a nose there, but you can see again why it's got the name Rhino. You got belt satin. Again, there is your pickled steel logo. There's those massive thumb studs. And then this one is 14C28N instead of D2. Now this one does not have much of a sharpening choil. It is, again, flat grind. Your bevel looks pretty good. Take a look at this side. It looks pretty doggone good there too. And the tip is pretty straight. It might be airing towards that side just a little bit, but not too bad. Edge feels good. Let's check out the centering real quick before we zoom out. Centering looks good. Again, you got steel liners. This is a liner lock, so it's not inset or anything. They do have some scalloping there. Lock bar access is not great, but it's not the worst I've ever seen, but it's not great. All right, let's go ahead and zoom back out. Test the edge on this guy. That's pretty good. Yeah, it gets a pass for sure. The tip's a little less sharp. Again, it's not terrible, not great, not terrible, but then again, like I said, these knives may or may not have been used a little bit, so even if they don't perform 100%, these pass around knives, they do get a pass in my book, just because, again, I don't know the history of them, you know, if they've been used or anything like that. So the action on the knife is pretty good. I mean, it's pretty drop shutty. It's tuned more for the thumb studs. I kind of almost wish it did not have the flipper, because it is tuned very well for that. It's a little, the detent's a little weak for the flipper, as you can see there. It's very easy to fail, but you know, if you handle knives a lot, you know kind of how to make even a light detent flipper look good. Like I could, if I wouldn't have told y'all it was a light detent, I could have just flicked it open and acted like there was no problems. But the thumb stud action is actually pretty doggone good. The reverse flick, it is a little light for the reverse flick too, but it still works really well for the reverse flick. It's just a little light for the flipper. Now the flipper design is a little off as well. And again, in my opinion, when you have the knife closed, see how far that flipper is below the pivot. I mean, there's your center line for your pivot, and that flipper is completely below that pivot. So that does cause it to be a little weaker as far as a flipper design goes. Well, I think if this detent was a little stronger, it would still be fine. It just needs a little bit of tuning for the detent. It's probably something that could be tuned out really easily, but outside of that, I really do enjoy the knife. I think it's a pretty awesome design. Feels pretty good in hand. The jimping's not bad. It's not great. Again, it's not bad. When you do press in, it locks in pretty good. I do feel the bill of the pocket clip a little bit right in the fat of the hand. Outside of that, ergonomics are good. For a manufacturer and a designer that I have no idea who they are, I'm pretty impressed. I can't lie. I like what I'm seeing. I think a little bit of refinement on both would be amazing. Both the detents are a little weak, so this one needs a little bit stronger springs in the crossbar. This needs a little bit better or crisper detent. Maybe a little bit of a larger detent ball, or better detent placement. I'm trying to look and even see. I don't even see the detent ball in here. Yeah, I don't even see the detent ball. Oh, okay. The detent ball is in the blade? Or is it? No? Wait a minute. Let's look. It's really hard to see. But it does look like the detent ball is actually on the blade itself. Yeah, it's got to be, yeah. So it looks like the detent ball is actually on the blade, so that's a little bit different. I'm sure there are people that do that, but that is a little bit odd, at least from what I've seen. Most of the time the detent ball is in the liner, and then the track and the hole is on the blade itself. Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. But either way it goes, very interesting designs. I'm assuming they're priced pretty well. But again, I don't know the exact pricing. Hopefully I have had that annotated up here. But yeah, all in all, pretty wicked designs, pretty cool names. Company name is pretty cool. Their logo here on the pouches looks pretty cool. So hopefully we'll see some more from these guys in the near future. A few refinements would be awesome, and then hopefully we'll check them out again soon. But until then, again, I really appreciate everybody for watching, commenting, sharing, subscribing. We'll catch you on the next one. Just in the meantime, as always, if you're out and about, please remember to be kind, be humble, be EDC. Take care.